It is officially buying season, everybody, and you know what that means. It is now spending season. It is that season where you crank open your wallet and dump all your cash down the infinite well that is capitalism. And we as motorcyclists, we're really tough to buy for. I mean, just imagine your grandma going out and buying an exhaust for your motorcycle. Maybe you've got a street triple and you tear open that paper Christmas morning and you find a set of Vance & Hines short shots because every motorcycle is a Harley to old Meemaw. Now, if you're a rider, you can share this video with somebody who might be looking to buy you something for Christmas, or you could just use this video as your own personal shopping list and buy yourself something nice, because you deserve it. Nothing settles the nerves of impending doom of your mortality like retail therapy. But a lot of people are gonna have these kind of videos out. In fact, Doodle has just put together a video with a whole bunch of stuff. I think she's got like 24 or 25 items. Me, on the other hand, I've collected 5 things because I need to count on one hand. Also, there's like no 5-cylinder motorcycles anymore, so as a motorcyclist, I really only need to count to 4. So, you know, everything after that's a bonus.
I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4. I can only count to 4.
First up, it's power tools. Every man out there likes the rush of an electric motor in their hands. Except not between their knees for some reason. Anywho, this year I've added 2 power tools to my tool chest that have made massive differences. First is my Milwaukee impact gun, lovingly referred to as Red Gun, or Red for short. I was hesitant at first because I always thought impacts were a great way to break bolts, pull threads, or strip stuff. And they absolutely can be, but in a careful hand, they're a godsend. You don't realize how much time you spend turning a wrench when you can zip a bolt out in literally 1 second. Now, Red Gun right here is discounted by $100 on Home Depot's website right now. Go buy it. Seriously, don't think, just go buy. Click that link now, buy it. Why is this such a good deal? This battery alone is $100. And not only are you gonna get the tool, the battery, and the charger, but you get some nice sockets too, which you probably already have. So a spare 10mm. There are some caveats with this version of the impact driver. This thing does not have a torque setting, so you can send it to the moon if you're not careful. The second thing, it does not come with these bits. You're gonna need these adapters in both 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch so that you can put all of your sockets and stuff on there. One last caveat, this is not an air impact, so don't try to bust loose a bunch of lug nuts on your truck with this thing. But for most motorcyclist applications, this is a phenomenal tool. But I can do you one better. This is Red's little sister Greenie. It's a Chemo auto ratcheting wrench because sometimes Red can't fit into a space and you still don't want to spend 1,000 years turning a bolt. Greenie's basically the same deal. It turns bolts for you, only it's got a slower motor, so it makes it nice for some of those more fragile bolts. Now, I got this thing on Amazon. It's the second one that I've had in a year. Why? Because I ended up breaking one because I was using the tool improperly. There's a little finger inside the head that actually moves the ratchet back and forth, and that is easy to break if you apply too much torque. Greenie is meant more for running bolts in and out versus cracking them loose. However, if you're just doing small 8s, 10s, and 12s, you're probably gonna be totally fine cracking bolts loose with this. I still do it all the time. Now, the pack I'm linking to comes with Greenie. It comes with 2 batteries, a charger, a case, and some really cheap sockets. Just go ahead and throw those out. They're not even worth keeping for the spare 10mm. One word of warning though, if you're buying these for yourself for the first time and you're coming off of hand tools, make sure that you start threading up every single bolt by hand. Otherwise, you go after it with Red Gun, it will pull those threads right out. But you know, exercise a little bit of smarts and you're gonna be just fine. Now, this next one's interesting because back in the day at Yammy Noob, I said this: don't be lazy and rely on sensors to do your job for you. Just move your right foot a little and actually use your rear brake. I thought these helmet lights were a gimmick, and then BrakeFree reached out and said, you wanna bet? They offered to send me one of their helmet lights and sponsored this video, but before they did, I secretly went and purchased one of these so that I could be testing it ahead of time, and what I got was actually really surprising. I was expecting something that was suspiciously lightweight and made out of cheap chintzy plastic, and what I got was something that was really well built, made out of high quality materials, it's waterproof, and at night, it's bright as 1,000 suns. You may have seen this on some other channels in the past. Doodle on a Motorcycle has been wearing one of these forever now and swears by them. She's actually the one who got me interested in this in the first place, by the way. In the box, you get a light, 2 mounts, a little alignment paper that urges you bigly to read the startup guide, and a little alcohol pad and a charging cable. Installation took me 4 minutes, but that's because I was filming it. If you're a normal person, you can get this thing on your lid in under 60 seconds.
Now I know what you're thinking, because I thought the exact same thing too. Why do I need extra LEDs on the back of my head when I've already got a brake light underneath my butt? Well, most motorcycles that are a little bit older, say my Aprilia, my VMAX, the 919, or even this bike right here, they all have incandescent bulbs. And incandescent bulbs do not put out nearly as much light as an LED. And incidentally, that's actually why I switched my turn signals to LEDs, and the smaller form factor's just a nice benefit. The BrakeFree here is bright enough to be seen during the day. It even has a nice day mode where it turns the lights off, but on when you get on the brakes. Then at night, it's really bright and you can see it from a long way off.
You can pick one of these up by clicking the link down in the description below and using the code SPITE for 10% off your order. BrakeFree is a small business, and I appreciate one with the balls to reach out to someone who talked smack about them in the past. That shows some real belief in the product, and I'm very pleased to have been wrong about this one. Oh, and remember how I have 2 of these things now? I'm going to be giving the other one away over on the Discord server, so check that out in the description down below too. Now, there's no sugarcoating this next one. It's going to be expensive, and that is an airbag vest. But to use an old cliche, can you really put a price on your own safety? This thing right here is my Alpinestars Tech Air Off-Road that I have been wearing for upwards of 6 months, and I have absolutely beat the snot out of this thing. I've taken it to Canada, I've taken it to California, and I've ridden in it right here in Austin, and it has taken everything I can throw at it and more. However, I have yet to have an actual deployment in this thing because the one time I went down, I actually had the canisters pulled out of it. However, if you want a first-hand accounting of how well these things work, just talk to Chase on 2 Wheels. He was wearing an Alpinestars Tech Air vest when he was in his accident earlier this year, and he attributes his quick recovery to how this thing minimized his injuries. There's a few options when it comes to airbag vests. There's the fully autonomous ones like Alpinestars Tech Air or the Revit Avertum, which is basically a Revit branded Tech Air 5, and there's Helite's own autonomous offerings. But if you're looking for a tethered option, the biggest name in the game is definitely Helite. I actually talked to a guy from Helite back in the day, and he let me test out one of their vests. The cool thing about these is that they go over your jacket, so they're universal and they're basically infinitely rechargeable. The Alpinestars ones, on the other hand, go under your jacket, so you need to make sure they have enough room to expand. The downside of the Helite is that they use CO2, which fills the airbag at a much slower rate than Alpinestars argon canisters.
Now, why do I choose Alpinestars over Helite? Well, the main reason is because I want this airbag to go off the second it senses something going wrong. I don't want to have to wait for the airbag to hit the end of a tether and then wait for the CO2 to deploy. This thing will sense an accident as it's happening and deploy in the blink of an eye.
No, not a joke.
I mean, seriously, just look at this footage. The second question is, why do I choose the Tech Air Off-Road versus any of the on-road offerings? Well, first of all, I ride both on and off-road, and I wanted something that I could get protection from everywhere. This thing's got 3 different rider modes. It's got a street algorithm, it's got a enduro mode, and then it's got its rally mode, which is essentially street mode, sport mode, and race mode if we're gonna use sport bike nomenclature. The enduro mode is permissive enough to allow me to have a drop off-road without deploying the airbag, and I can service this thing myself. I get 4 pops before I have to send it back to Alpinestars, but at this point, I've had 0 crashes and 0 deployments in 6 months, so at this point it'll be infinity months before I have to send it back in.
You can check out all the different offerings for airbag vests down below, and if you like the Helite more than the Alpinestars, that's totally cool. You're not going to hurt my feelings. The more important thing is that you have an airbag and that you wear it, not that you buy the same one that I have. Number 4 is one from a channel sponsor, and it's a Cardo. If you haven't heard about one of these, welcome back from your coma. Yes, we still have cheese in can form, and no, we do not have flying cars. But for the rest of you who have heard of these, now is the best time to upgrade. See, I don't envy the position that Cardo finds themselves in. They have the Maytag problem. Their products are just so damn good and they last so long that you still see people rocking the original Pack Talk. If you're one of those folks, you should check out their Black Friday sale, which is coming up just around the corner. From November 28th through the 5th of December, you'll be able to save 25% on a brand new unit.
But these Cardos are a mousetrap, right? They're perfect, so why upgrade? Well, first of all, the newer units come with DMC mesh connection, which allows for seamless rejoining of riders if you get separated, better audio quality, and you can pair more riders at once. But maybe you're an introvert and you don't want to talk to anybody while you're riding. Well, these have longer battery life, they have better audio quality with the JBL speakers, and they use USB-C as opposed to those old units, which are USB micro. So get with the times, Grandpa.
But for those of you on the fence, I highly recommend you pick one up, and you don't need to grab the biggest and fanciest one either. They've got units that'll match your budget and your needs. Now this last one's a bit of a wild card. I thought long and hard about this one.
That's what she said.
That's my joke. Damn it, Dwight.
And I wanted to throw something in here that I personally would have wanted if I was a rider who couldn't claim impulse purchases as a business expense. What this is it's a universal dashboard that can fit on any motorcycle that comes bundled with forward and rearward facing cameras. It's got GPS to monitor your speed, and built in, it's got a whole bunch of cool toys like Android Auto and CarPlay. There's a special connector for BMWs that will actually allow you to pull data for your bike, and it's got universal tire pressure monitors. The reason I like the Chigee is because it's got the whole Android Auto thing built in. I know a bunch of people are just gonna say, well, put your phone on the handlebars, but Android Auto is literally designed to be used on the road. It's like those cell phones or TV remotes you get for a senior. It makes everything super easy to find and switch between, and you don't have to enter a password to wake it up every time.
Plus, this guy's got forward and rear facing 1080p dash cams, which are really handy, especially if you're somebody who's commuting. It is always nice to have something looking over your shoulder just in case something goes wrong. The reason why I put it on my 600 here is because I use these dash cams when I'm out on the racetrack to film, because I can't have a camera on my helmet, and these are hard mounted to the motorcycle, so I don't actually need to safety wire them down.
This is another one where you don't need to grab the exact same one I call out, but I wouldn't go with the bottom dollar option here. The Chigee is the only one I've tested, and it's the only one I can recommend with confidence, but there are a bunch of options down in the $200-ish range. Again though, caveat emptor. Now let's dive into some honorable mentions, and at number 6 we've got Flying Eyes. These things are the best sunglasses that are literally designed to fit between your head and your helmet with no pressure points thanks to their thin and flexible stems. They're also damn near indestructible. They're also damn near indestructible. Try doing that with a pair of Ray-Bans. Click that link down in the description below. You'll get 10% off with the code SC10. Number 7, a tire inflator. These things are always handy to have around. These things, all you gotta do is put it on your tire, set the pressure, hit the button, and it does the thing. There's a whole bunch of these on offer. Just go to Amazon and search tire inflator. I'll have this one linked down below. It's the X9 from Fantic. It's really small, it fits in a saddlebag, and it has the auto off feature right here, so it won't turn on in your bag. Third honorable mention, an action camera. I highly recommend the DJI Osmo Action 4 or 5 Pro, not just because they sponsor the channel, but because they make the best damn action camera out there. No matter what you do not buy a GoPro. Number 9, if you're buying somebody who's on an old motorcycle that's kind of dingy, buy them a shit ton of this. This is SC1. It's literally called New Bike in a Can, and it is a high gloss coating that's really good at removing some dirt after you spray it down with water. It also stops dirt from building up. Obviously, you don't want to put it on your tires or your brakes, but it's really good at shining up an old motor like this 72,000 mile old Yamaha V4. Then last up at number 10, if you've tried nothing and you're all out of ideas, you could just get them a gift card. Just don't think about the implied message that I was obligated to get you a gift, but I didn't like you enough to think about something that you would like specifically, so here's some cash and an errand. Links are down in the description below, and now it is time for me to go inside, watch Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard but it's Santa, and all of my other favorite Christmas movies. And yes, I know it's still November.